Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say thank you for coming in my presentation. It is great to see you all. My name is Oki Suhartono, and I am from postgraduate at Maulana Malik Ibrahim Islamic State University of Malang, Indonesia. In this presentation, I will discuss about the position of leadership and management of Islamic education in improving the quality of institution. Effort to improve the quality of Islamic education led by leaders of Islamic institution not only pay attention to quality improvement techniques but also make special things make it better and more stringent. These changes can ultimately place leader in the forefront in improving the quality of Islamic education, especially in the process of improving the quality of Islamic education in influential institutions. Leadership. Leadership comes from the word pimpin, which means to guide. A leader meant in person who lead good goods show the way, train, educate teachers so that he can finally walk on his own. Leadership is defined as a process of influencing the activities of individual of group to achieve goal in certain situation. From this definition, it appears that leadership is a process, not a person. Paul Hersey and Kenneth Blanchard, in their book Management of Organizational Behavior, define leadership is a follow. Leadership is the process influencing the activities of an individual or group in effort toward goal achievement in given situation. However, from some of these definitions, it can be determined the essence of the notion of leadership as follows. There's as a leader, B. Some early individual or group influencing activity. D. There is good cooperation. A. There is a goal to be achieved. The view of Islam, the leader, is not only an example of good behavior, but leadership is also related to basic social expectation or demand imposed on the leader. Rasulullah is role model for everyone, including leader, because in him there is only goodness, and goodness. Allah berfirman, is meaning in that there is the messenger of Allah, a good role model for you that for those who hope the mercy of Allah and the coming of the day of judgment, and he often mentioned Allah. Responsibility or the principle of accountability for leadership in Islam should be placed in the text muamalah of life in division worship of every human being as caliph on his heart. The hadith of the Messenger of Allah narrated from Ibn Umar as follows: Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'ayatihi fal imamu ra'in wa huwa mas'ulun an ra'ayatihi wa rijalu ra'in fi ahlihi alaih mutafakun alaih. Its meaning, everyone is a leader, and every leader will definitely be asked about his leadership. The Imam is the leader and will be asked about his leadership. Every husband is the leader of his family and he will be asked about his leadership. And every wife is the leadership of his household and he will be asked about his leadership. The servant leader over the word of his master will be asked about his leadership. Every son of leader again to property of his parents, and he will be asked about his leadership. Every one of you is a leader, and every leader will be asked about his leadership. Mustafakun Ali from Ibn Umar. From the sheet for Islamic treasure, the Islamic leadership style has a peculiarity that is shown as a midpoint between authoritarian leadership and laissez-faire leadership. This peculiarity is shown by the use of strict Islamic principle and the use of Sharia or consultation institution. The application of Sharia allows Islamic leaders to avoid the authoritarian paradigm where the leader is seen as the center of authority, and avoid laissez-faire where the organization does not have direction, supervision, or guidance, so that all parties make their own decision. Mm. Islamic education management. Management is a business, planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and supervising activities within an organization in order to achieve organizational goals efficiently and effectively. Management, according to Burhanuddin, is an activity carried out by manager in managing organization, institutions, and companies. Based on this understanding, the management can be defined as a process by using human resource and other resources to achieve a goal. Education can be interpreted narrowly and can also be interpreted broadly. And a narrow sense, education can be interpreted guidance given to children until they are adults, while education in a broad sense is everything to concern to process of human development, namely effort to develop and instill values for students, so that the values contained in education become part of the child personally, which is to become a smart person, good able to live and useful for society. The purpose is Islamic of education management is that all resource, equipment, or facilities that exist in organization can be moved in such a way that it can avoid to a minimum level all the wasting of time, energy, material, and money in order to achieve organizational goals that have been set in advance. According to Muhaimin, he put forward the nation of Islamic education into aspects. First, Islamic education is an educational activity organization. Okay. Can be interagreed, explore, and passively grow according. Yeah, Islam. Okay. Yeah. The first Islam education and educational activity organized or established with the desire and intention to embody Islamic teaching and values. Second, Islamic education is education system that is developed in from and inspired by Islamic teaching and values. The concept of Islamic education management according to the perspective of view of the Quran is as follows, namely flexible, effective, efficient, open, cooperative, and participatory. The purpose of Islamic education management is the all resource, equipment, or facility that exists in the organization can be moved in such a way that can avoid to a minimum level all and the wastage of time, energy, material, money in order to achieve organizational goals that have been set in advance. Okay, scope practice of Islamic education management. As the definition put forward by Muhaimin, that Islamic education management is an education activity organized with the desire to embody Islamic teaching and values. Type 1 for Muhaimin, as definition put forward by Muhammad, the Islamic education management is an educational activity organized with the desire to embody Islamic teaching and values Muhammad. In practice, in Indonesia, Islam education can be grouped into at least five types, namely: number one, pondok pesantren or madrasah diniyah, which is according to law number 20 of 2030 concerning the national education system, is referred to as former Islamic religious education, such as Islamic boarding school or madrasah diniyah, ula, usta, ulia, and ma'had ali. Number two, PAUD, RABA, madrasah and further education such as EIN, Stein, or State Islamic University under the auspice of the Ministry of Religion. Number three, early childhood education, Rawdatul Atfal, school college held under the auspice of Islamic Foundation and Organization. Number 4. Islamic religion study in school, madrasa, or university as a subject of course and or a study program. And number 5. Islamic education in the family or in place of worship and or in Islamic studies forum, Taklim assembly, and other institutions currently being promoted by the community or Islamic education through non-formal and informal education channel. Type 2 Type 2, the definition put forward by Muhaimin. The scope of practice of Islamic education management in the second definition put forward by Muhaimin, namely the education system from and encouraged or aspired by Islamic teaching and values. In this sense, Islamic education can also include educator or teacher or principal lecturer of madrasa or schools or leaders of tertiary institution and or other education personnel who carry out and develop their educational activities are motivated or inspired by Islamic teaching and values. Two other educational components are objective, teaching material or material tools, media, learning or learning research or method, evaluation, environment or context management, and other that are inspired by Islamic teaching and values or are characterized by Islam. Thus, the scope of practice of Islam education management include institutional management and Islamic education program, as well as aspects of the Islamic spirit inherent in every educational activity. Education quality. Total quality management, integrated quality management is a management approach that is oriented toward improving the quality of products by in organization for customer satisfaction. The application of quality of education is a process that is the integrate with the process of improving the quality of human resource itself, record, recognizing in the importance of the process of improving the quality of human resource. The government and the private sector have jointly and continuously strived to realize this mandate through various efforts to develop higher quality education. The problem faced by Islam education institutions are so diverse, starting from management problem, leadership problem, human resource, finance, and institutional problem. Improving the quality of Islamic educational institutions should continue to be pursued by prioritizing theories of quality analysis and their application. According to Crosby, quality is as required of standards or conformance to requirement, namely in accordance with predetermined quality standard, both input, process, and output. According to Joseph Juran, quality is the suitability of product use, fitness for use, to meet customer need and satisfaction. The suitability of user of the product is based on five main characteristics, namely: number one, technology, namely strengths, Number two, psychological, namely feeling or status. Number three, time, namely reliability. Number four, contractual, is there is a guarantee. Number five, ethic, namely manners. Hmm. Susanto explained that the education is said to be of good quality when measuring tools are used, namely quality indicator which can be divided into five types, namely number one input quality, number two process quality, number three output quality, four quality of human resource, five quality of facilities. If the quality big mark refer to educational process, Islamic educational institutions are required to be able to improve the quality of their education setting from the level of madrasah diniyah, Raudatul Atfal, Madrasah Ibtidaiyah, Madrasah Sanawiyah, Madrasah Aliyah, and or Stein or EIN or UIN. Education as a service institution must provide the best possible service to its customer. School customer include internal customer and external customer. The school external customer are parent, government, and the community including the school committee. The school internal customers are students, teachers, and administrative staff. In other words, schools have primary, secondary, and tertiary customers. The primary customer of school are students, secondary customer of school are parents of students, tertiary customer are the government and society. For that, there must be continued improvement carried out by institutions taking aim focus on the process or system of achieving organizational goals by starting from the quality improvement process. Taking aim is expected to reduce the chance of making mistakes in product because a good product is what customer expect. Choose product design a process according to procedure and technique to achieve customer expectation. Mm, Leadership position in institutional quality improvement. Mm. Terry said that leaders have some responsibility and seek to address the problem facing the organization. Peter and Austin Insalis developed some of the values needed by educational leadership to produce high-quality educational educational institution, namely vision and symbol, MBWA, management by walking about, focus on the learner, autonomy, creating essence of family, sincerity, patience, intensity, and enthusiasm. The leaders seek to identify and understand the desire of subordinates to turn plans into reality. The leader conduct consultation and participation meeting to present plan, explain goals, announce task, raise morale, and try to resolve tension between group members. In addition to leader also tries to understand the problem faced by subordinates and their feeling about this problem, work, co-workers, and the work environment of subordinate. In the terminology of Islamic education management, Islamic leadership is manifested as certain managerial position that be responsibility for achieving organizational goals through leadership activities. Such leadership is categorized into administrative leader and operative leader. Administrative leader is a group of leaders who design policies, general policies, which are often taught to top manager or the high echelon atau top managers. While operative leaders are group of leaders who are directly dealing with operation with or the implementation of policies made by administrative leader. The latter group of leaders is more often referred to as middle level leaders, middle management, and lower level leader atau low management. In the context of Islamic education management, the higher a person occupies a leadership position, he must be able to formulate general policies to be run or operationalized by lower leaders. Conversely, the lower operational leadership position, he must focus more on the units that are part of it and master in more detail, especially the problem of the unit section. To get mass cooperation and the quality of work, each leadership will give birth to high quality Islamic educational institution. In achieving this vision of leadership, an Islamic education leader need to have conceptual skill, human skill, and technical skill. To have this skill, Islamic education leaders are consciously willing to be openly willing to always learn from their daily work, especially from the way teachers and other education personnel work, observing planned management activities, read various things related to the activities being carried out, the advantage of the people research result, think for the future, and formulate ideas that can be tested. Empirical studies: Number one, leadership of the head of madrasa in improving the quality of education admin Waikanan. In the theory of the quality of education, there are several things that indicate increase in the quality of education, namely in terms of input, process, and output. Hmm. In addition, the quality of education can be indicated by the activities of the principal leadership, participation and sense of responsibility of teacher and staff, effective teaching and learning process, program staff development, relevant curriculum, high accreditation and mission, conducive school climate, self-assessment of strength and weakness, effective communication both internal and external, as well as the intrinsic involvement of parent and the community. The head of madrasa has also several strides that can improve the quality of education at Mintiga Waikanan. Namely, number one, the head of madrasa has provided input by carrying out several things. Number two, the head of madrasa has also made a strategy in preparing the learning process as much as possible. Number three, madrasa principal for several years have always been able to pass 100% of their students. Number two, the role of principal leadership in improving the quality of education. Case study at MTS Masyarikul Anwar, Caringin, Labuan, Pandeglang. The leadership role of the principal at MTS Masyarikul Anwar in improving the quality of education because the principal plays an important role in improving the quality of education, which is considered as a superior who is the central element determining the direction of school success. The role of the principal at MTS Masharikul Anwar is optimal so that the principal has more time at school, such as controlling teacher educator every morning, the evaluating and conducting training on the teacher council so that the school administration is adequate and because the principal has democratic nature and leading its member. Principal leadership in managing high achievement madrasa and elementary school. The leadership is considered in trigger for change in the development of the quality and achievement of Islamic education, madrasa, Islamic school, and Islamic boarding school. Imran Arifin, in his dissertation on leadership on principle in managing high achievement madrasa and elementary school, stated that there were 10 factors 10 factors that supported the achievement of ME or SD that I studied respectively, namely: number one, good physical facilities and educational equipment. Number two, teachers and support staff who are competent and have a high commitment. Number three, differentiate learning. Number four, the hope and trust of Islamic leadership in improving the quality of Islamic educational institution is high, and strong support from parents and the surrounding community. Number five, rational and harmonious organization. Number six, high commitment to local culture and religion. Number seven, a healthy work climate and high motivation and enthusiasm for work. Number 8, improvement of faith principal and teacher. Number 9, support creative figures who are rich in insight and ideas. Number 10, effective principal leadership. The view of Islam the leader is not only an example of good behavior, but leadership is also related to basic social expectation or demand imposed on the leader. In accordance with the terminology of Islamic education management, Islamic leadership is manifest a certain managerial position that bear responsibility for achieving organizational goals through leadership activities. So leadership is categorized into administrative leader and operative leader. Administrative leader is a group of leaders who determine policy. General policy, which is of identically top manager or the high echelon top manager, while operative leader are a group of leaders who are directly dealing with operation, which are the implementation of policy made by administrative leader. The latter group of leader is more often referred to as middle level leader, middle management, and low level leaders, low management. This also does not this also doesn't escape from the principal who function in accordance with the role and responsibilities he holds as the highest leader in education institution. The success or failure of the leadership of each group of leaders in carrying out their duties is determined by managerial skill and technical skill depending on the leadership position covered. Meanwhile, Sondang Pesiagia in his book Strategic Management more clearly states that leadership is the skill and ability of person to influence other people, but those who are in high level or low position than him. I'm thinking and acting so that behavior to may previously be individualistic and egoistic change into organizational behavior. The approach used is a behavioral approach. If you look at the result of research conducted by Lestiler study at MTS Masharikul Anwar, it is still far from being a democratic leader because in theory, according to Burhanuddin, leadership must be able to influence people and become a figure or role model. This can be seen from several school policies that are still to import white policies originating for foundation, sometimes binding and limiting school in unified white minimal funding so which will automatically limit all school need if the principle applies the network type. Here also must be able to deal with internal problems more comprehensively and competently by involving a stakeholder in the institution led by the foundation. Rasulullah is role model for everyone, including leader, because in him there is only goodness. This is in line with the word of Allah in the Quran, Surah Al-Ahzab. لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا صدق الله العظيم. From the verse above we can conclude that in the view Islam, the leader is not only an example But leadership is also related to basic social expectation or demand imposed on the leader. First, the ability that is thought to exist in him to lead toward the achievement of the desired situation by his community. Second, the possible weight of satisfaction in maintaining the existence of the community. In the context of fulfilling these social demands, leader must be aware of the existence of transcendental accountability which required personal submission to the moral imperative of religion. Therefore, leadership in the context of Islam has a great role and responsibility, especially in producing a generation of intelligent and moral people in accordance with Islamic principles in the Constitution and Pancasila is the basis of the nation ideology. This responsibility or accountability principle of leadership in Islam should be placed in the text of life in diffusion words of every human being escalate on his heart. As Allah said in Surah Al-A'raf, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. قالوا أوذينا من قبل أن تأتينا ومن بعد ما جئتنا قال عسى ربكم أن يهلك عدوكم ويستخلفكم في الأرض فينظر كيف تعملون. The Moses said, we have been oppressed by Pharaoh, our ship, before you come to us, and after you come. Moses replied, hopefully Allah will destroy your enemies and make you call on earth his, then Allah will see you are you doing. Conclusion: educational leadership is essentially a servant of the people. Leadership which originally was the right of Allah was given human as the caliph of Allah on earth. Through Islamic education management, leaders are expected to know their position in managing institutions in order to achieve the expected quality of education. Leadership in creating good Islamic education management must have the determination and commitment to change, improving the quality of Islamic education used by leaders of Islamic educational institutions must make some changes to be more weak, better, and pay attention to technique in improving the quality of Islamic education. Thank you very much.